How's it going, lovelies? I'm Brandon.
I'm Gwen.
And welcome back to Broken Haunted Cast, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything between. This week, we're going to be talking about what we do.
Podcasts.
Oh,
What you're listening to.
I mean, like, what you're hearing with your ear holes.
And what's this we're going to talk about first? What we always talk about first, a brief history.
Yeah, because,
No, it went away!
it's hilarious. Guess no, I'm not going to do a history this week.
No, I got it back. It's fine.
Aw.
Okay.
It's like history class, like, you know that, like, really chill teacher that you just, like, I like you, and then I, like, give it, like, the history lesson, then, like, 5 minutes, and you just pass right out.
Yeah.
It's about chill there.
So I'm going to ask you first, when do you think podcasts, or the term podcasting was coined?
My social media instructor is gonna get mad at me because she actually does a podcast. Can I plug her in real quick?
Yeah.
Go listen to Whitney Broccoli's Pink Lemonade podcast.
I still need to. Can we listen to that?
Yeah, we can.
Down to Podfest?
Yeah, actually, I can text her and be like, well, she has an upstanding, like, offer for me to be on the show, so
Yeah.
I just need to, like, find time where we're in Columbus so I can just pop by her house and be like, okay, I'm here. Let's do it. And, but yeah, no, Pink Lemonade podcast, she gives, like, a good, like, info and stuff, like, stuff that you need to know, like, on your daily life, or just, like, in general, if you want to succeed in just what you do. But yeah, go check it out. It's literally wherever you listen to podcasts. So, just like us. But yeah,
I have a date here, and on multiple articles it said that this is, like, not the date, but the year.
the date that it was coined.
Yeah, like the year it was coined.
Yeah.
So when did you think podcasts
Can we, like,
got, like, became a thing?
Yeah.
Because online radio's been a thing for a while. Like, you could stream radio programs online for longer than this, I'm pretty sure. It's just that it didn't start, like, things that weren't just radio being streamed online, where it was just people doing stuff just for online. I don't think it really got started until around this time. So what year do you think it was?
Let's say early 2000s.
You're right there. I'm going to let the lovelies also guess. Like, if you guys can contact her at all, definitely.
Pause the episode.
Pause the episode, make your guess, or just write down your guess or something, just so you can comment later.
Well, we live in the 21st century. Just type out your guess on your notes in your phone, and don't go to Google.
Yeah, don't look it up. That's not fun. But yeah, guess a year in the early 2000s. I'm gonna be spooked if you guess the year.
I was gonna say, like, around 2004, 2005. What year was it?
That is spooky because it is 2004. The year 2004. I was like, if you guess the year, I am going to be freaked out.
Why?
And you're just like, 2004. It's like, how? That is the, like...
Dude, thanks, Whitney. I remembered something from the class.
So yeah, 2004, and it was coined by Ben Hammersley. Hammersley. I don't know why I said Hammersley. Ben Hammersley, in the newspaper article for The Guardian. Oh. And he was writing about the potential for boom in amateur radio, actually. And arguing that the ingredients were all there. Blogging, popular production software, cheap, and MP3 players.
Yeah, because that's what we use here at the office. Is we use an actual professional radio thing that they record their commercials on.
Yeah. So yeah. And
that's why our voices sound so nice and crisp whenever you listen to us. Because like then also if you're listening through the car after you get done listening to radio, that's why we sound similar. Just so you lovelies know, like, yes, we are using the actual same audio softwares and stuff like that.
But yeah, he was just kind of like, what will it be called? Audio blogging, podcasting, or guerrilla media? Now, gorilla isn't spelled how we spell, like, animal gorilla. It's
more like the band.
G-U-E-R-I-L-L-A.
Yeah.
So, guerrilla.
Yes.
But I think it's pronounced gorilla. But yeah,
because that references back to guerrilla type writing and guerrilla warfare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just a sign for like rebels. This is what it is.
But yeah, podcast, it says later down here in the article, and I'll say the website I'm reading from in a minute. Podcasting was, in fact, developed in 2004 when Adam Curry, former MTV video jockey, and software developer Dave Weiner coded a program known as iPodder, which enabled them to download internet radio broadcasts to their iPods. Curry now hosts the Daily Source Code, one of the most popular podcasts on the internet.
Oh.
And it wasn't until a year later that big companies started, like Apple and stuff, started recognizing the opportunity in podcasting.
Yeah, because I listen to the Apple Podcasts every other day, or like
I almost listen every single day.
Yeah, I try to listen every single day, but then I get distracted with different life stuff, and I just lose focus.
Yeah, but I'm reading from onefineplay.com, and if you look up the thing I searched, which was a brief history of podcasts, it is the number 4 search result.
Wow, it took you down to the 4th one?
Yeah, because some of them were talking about the technology that was invented
for strictly podcasts, not...
No, the technology that got invented that kind of pushed podcasts becoming a thing, and it's I want to know when podcasts started, not the technology that made them possible. I went specifically, and that was the website I found that it actually says a brief history of podcasting.
Yes. Okay.
So I wanted to read from that because it was also saying basically the same stuff a lot of these other articles are saying.
But that they put it the more chilled out version.
Yeah, it was easier to read, easier to understand. So yeah. I usually go for that kind of stuff.
Because that's what we like to do that's what us as podcasters do is we try to put it in the simplest terms so everybody can understand.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely there's a lot more to this article, so... Oh, here's a timeline. Do you want me to read the timeline?
Showing it.
The timeline's pretty short.
Okay, go ahead.
So we already said 2004 is when Adam Curry and Dave Weiner are credited for inventing the medium. In 2005, Apple iTunes is released, fully supportive of podcasts. 2005, George Bush...
Apple jumped on that
real quick, yeah.
Did you just say George Bush?
Mm-hmm. George Bush becomes first president to deliver his weekly address in the form of a podcast. In 2000,
at least George was good for something.
Then also in 2005, podcast is declared Word of the Year by the New Oxford American Dictionary.
When was that?
2005.
Nice.
So the same year that George Bush...
And Apple was just hey.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff happened in 2005. Then in 2006, Steve Jobs demonstrates how to record a podcast using GarageBand during a keynote speech, which I think is really cool because... if you have an Apple device, you have GarageBand.
Yeah, we have GarageBand.
Yeah. I remember that was the thing I loved messing around. What are you doing? Okay. I remember that was something I loved messing around with the most when my mom got her iPod.
Yeah.
For the first time. That was oh my gosh, heck yeah, I'm gonna mess around with this. But I was 8 years old, so I had no idea how to use it.
Yeah, you could have been cranking out podcasts back then.
I could have been cranking out podcasts back then. I talked about some crazy stuff.
Also, you know what also started in 2005?
What?
YouTube.
I thought it started 2004 as a dating site.
No.
It started that late?
Yeah, 2005.
Oh, dang. I thought it started a couple years earlier as a dating site.
The first video ever was me at the zoo. That's what the video was called.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember it started out as a dating site. We can do a history of YouTube.
Yeah, let's do that. Win some YouTube credits.
Yeah. But yeah, then in 2007, Ricky Gervais
Ricky Gervais
sets world record for most downloaded podcasts with an average of, oh my gosh, 250,000 downloads per episode in the first month.
Yeah.
This guy was obsessed with podcasts. Then 2009 through 2011, Andrew Carola's podcast received, oh my gosh, that's a big number, Brandon.
Do you know Ricky Gervais?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais, the guy that...
Holy crap, Ricky. Calm down, Ricky.
He was in Night at the Museum. He was...
Isn't he in The Office?
He wasn't. He was in the British version of The Office.
The original. That's what I was talking about, the original Office. You want to look up who Andrew is?
No.
But his podcast received 59,574,843 unique downloads.
Yes.
That's a lot of downloads. In the span of 3 years.
Jeez.
That's a lot of downloads. Then in 2013, Personal Audio sues high-profile podcasters, claiming they have a patent on podcasting. I don't know who Personal Audio is, but they apparently got upset that podcasting was supposedly their thing and they patented it.
Yeah, there was a dude that did the exact same thing about blogging, so...
You can't really patent those kind of things. So.
Yeah, no, you can't. Then also how the React channel tried to patent
the word React, so
yes.
people couldn't do React videos anymore other than them.
Yes.
Or so that they could get all their ad revenue and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, that was messed up.
That's why I don't watch React anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I stopped watching way before that, but...
Yeah, that was like the final draw with me.
But yeah, then 2013 also is when Apple announced 1 billion podcast subscribers. 2017, which was just a couple years ago. So that's like a big gap in the timeline.
That's when we started. That's when Broken on the Cast started, was 2017.
Really?
2017, yeah.
Oh, dang, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in 2017, court rules against... Oh my gosh, it took 4 years for them to rule against Personal Audio, declaring they did not invent the medium of podcasting. And that they could not claim royalties on it.
Well, I'm glad that was such a cool year to start, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, in 2019, a couple years later, that was last year.
Yeah, last year.
165 million people have listened to a podcast, with 90 million Americans listening monthly.
Hey, nice. We're one of those ones. Nice.
Aw, man, I just hurt myself. Ow.
Did you always do this and everything? Are you okay?
No, I need to stand up. Hold on.
Okay.
My back's messed up, so it's like hurting my stomach also.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to do this show while standing?
I may need to. Let me try sitting back down again.
Okay.
It just hurt to breathe. It's like a stabbing pain right here.
Yeah.
Now that I can breathe, I kind of need to breathe to talk.
Yeah.
You know?
Kind of do.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm back, guys. How's it going? So yeah, that's the timeline of
you want
podcasting.
to fix your mic there for a second? You want to tighten that up?
You want to... It's as tight as it goes.
Okay, good.
Mine's always like super loose. So yeah, going off of that timeline, what was your first podcast you ever listened to? Well, here's a good question. Did you listen to any podcasts before starting your own?
Yes.
Okay. What was it?
I think I listened to podcasts without realizing it, because there would be times where I would have, like, I'll be watching YouTube and, like, I would click on a video, but it would just be audio only.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's kind of a thing of, like, it's kind of hard to define what a podcast is.
Like, we do that now, but...
Yeah, I always defined a podcast... I mean, I've always known the definition is it's purely audio-based, and there's no video to it, which made me really upset back in, like, 2015, 2016, when a ton of YouTubers were like, podcasts are really popular now. We need a coin on this because nobody wants to watch videos anymore. So instead of just like recording a podcast, a lot of times they would just sit down
Yeah.
and just talk. And it's like that's still like a vlog. You're still just you're doing like a video diary kind of thing. You're not doing a podcast, because podcasts are just audio based.
See, my first podcasts were Ear Biscuits by Rhett and Link.
See, yeah, I watched that. I never listened to it because at first, I mean, I don't think Spotify existed back then.
Yeah.
So a lot of time it was just we're uploading on iTunes, and it's like if you don't have an Apple device, which I didn't.
Which I always did.
Yeah, like, but if you didn't, like me, like you kind of just were stuck with YouTube.
Yeah, then I would also listen to Dragons and Places, which is the Game Grumps version of Dungeons and Dragons. Which I only got a few episodes of that whenever I stopped, and I was just like, then the craze hit with the podcast, and I was just like, I'm not going to touch on it. Like, I want to, but I'm not going to, because like I got like tons of different stuff to do, and my life is crazy at the moment. And then I started one out of like, it was like a school project I had to do, and I was like, I'll do it, and it sucked. Like, just flat by myself, I was terrible. And then I did a Facebook Live.
Well, I was gonna say, like, most podcasts are 2 people or more.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was like I did a Facebook Live where I sat down with the first co-host of Broken Heart Cast, like Mike Anthony, and we was just talking about like the different Disney remakes that they're doing, because at that time Mulan was just a remake that they was gonna do. So we talked about that and stuff like that, and then like not even a week later we went into a studio and we called it the first ever episode.
Yeah, because
sorry, I'm still talking. The first episode is up on YouTube right now, and we're gonna post it on everywhere else this June. So if you lovelies want to wait until then to listen to the very first episode, it'll be up then. Then also I'll have like a little dedication thing at the very beginning that I want to do. So yeah.
But yeah, like what I was gonna say was, like I can see why it didn't work out for you doing it by yourself, because a lot of people, like you had me playing a game I have never played before on the YouTube channel, and I am very uncomfortable trying to record that by myself.
Yeah.
Like, I constantly am wanting to talk to you, and it's just that thing of, like, if I was playing a game I was familiar with, like Zelda or something like that, like, I could probably record it by myself, but it's not really as fun. Yeah,
because with me, that's the whole different ballpark, in my opinion. That with me, I started a YouTube channel, like the first few episodes were either just like a quick thing I did in Windows Movie Maker, then it was Broken Heart Cast, and then it was Shadow of the Colossus, which I kind of just threw myself in with Shadow of the Colossus. And I was just like, the first few episodes, I was just like, I was extremely awkward and stuff like that. And then I moved on from that. I was just like, yep, I got this. I know what to do.
Yeah. I feel like I'm probably going to pick up on this game that you've got me playing. But it is that awkward thing of, like, it's really uncomfortable and awkward to do by yourself. And especially when it's, like, when you're doing a gaming thing, it's easier to get away with it.
Yeah.
Because you have a viewer. They're not just listening to your audio, they're listening to the game audio and watching the game.
Right.
But when it's
hence podcast, why we also have music in the very beginning and in between the ads and what we do.
But yeah, like, if it's a podcast, it's all on you.
Yeah.
All the pressure's on you talking and you know.
Yeah, I tried
entertaining.
I tried doing the podcast like several times by myself, and I'm just like, I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, I really don't know. I can't think of anybody unless it's like a kind of like
an informational thing.
Not even that, yeah, I guess like if they're reading from kind of like a script that they've written up.
You know who does it? Welcome to Night Vale.
I was about to say, like, stuff like Welcome to Night Vale, where it's like a fantasy kind of narrative where you have a script written up. You're not just talking about subjects. You're not just, trying to entertain yourself. like by yourself without a script, you're reading from a script.
Yeah.
You have everything laid out, so there's not going to be that awkward pausing. If you know how you want to portray
Space it
that
out.
character,
Yeah.
then you're good to go.
Yeah, which, do you want to say what your face the podcast are? I know we kind of got a little bit out of hand there,
Yeah.
but try to
I
reel it back in.
Well, and I know now you're listening to,
I was gonna wait to say the podcast that we are listening to now at the very end of the show, whenever we answer the question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, my first podcast, I guess, would technically be Ear Biscuits. I didn't listen to that one a lot, really.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But
I would listen to Good Mythical Morning.
yeah, which some of their stuff you could just listen to. You didn't really need to see what was going on. But
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff was still video based. It was more like...
Well, it started off as a podcast.
They did?
Yep.
Oh.
Actually, a lot of the episodes are still on, I think, Spotify and Apple, too.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I know they started back when they weren't living in California. They lived on, the other side of the country. I don't remember exactly where.
They lived in North Carolina.
Yeah. You're right. That is where they're from. And they basically, I think it was YouTube, was just like, do you want to move closer to YouTube Studios?
Yeah.
And they're like, I guess we're gonna go across the country. But yeah, they had they were in a little trailer and stuff. I remember recording Good Mythical Morning when it first started, and they basically had to haul that trailer with them
Yeah.
all the way to California on the exact opposite side of the country. It was just dang.
So,
But yeah, I guess those two, and then really Welcome to Night Vale. That was I started listening to that pretty much right after it came out.
jeez.
I remember the second Valentine's Day episode. It didn't come out it came out on Valentine's Day, but I don't think it was specifically about Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Something very traumatic happens to one of the characters, basically, and
Did I reach that point?
yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very dramatic.
Very bad stuff starts going down. It's one of the points in the show where bad stuff really starts going down for the first time. And I remember listening to that on a 8-hour bus ride to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So I was stuck trying to contain all of this and trying to my sister and I were listening together, and we're trying to bounce theories off of each other and trying to be quiet to the people which are trying to sleep, and we're just what? It was crazy. But yeah, I've been listening since the beginning.
Yeah, do you want to say what Welcome to Night Vale is? I know we're gonna rephrase it at the end.
Yeah,
when we
I
answer the
mean,
question,
it's a podcast about a desert community radio for the desert community of Night Vale, and people have speculated where Night Vale is. A lot of people think between California and Arizona, basically.
Yeah.
Is what I've heard. Maybe Nevada, one of those kind of deserty areas
I always
of America.
am picturing it close to Roswell.
Where's that?
I think it's Nevada.
Where's in New Mexico?
Yeah, New Mexico.
Yeah, so it's on the west coast, those deserts and stuff.
Yeah, it's because it makes sense, it being either close to Area 51 or Roswell.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I kind of thought it was more just a very sheltered, secluded either there's two different things it could be. It's a sheltered, secluded town that people have all these weird things happening and they think it's normal because they don't know how the rest of the world works. Because we hear and at one point we do hear about a character who used to have a normal life on the East Coast, and then one day they just started driving, and next thing they knew they were in Night Vale, and so they just kept driving.
Yeah,
and
that's the story of you.
Yeah, and then they were at the beginning of Night Vale again, and they couldn't leave the town.
Yeah.
And yeah,
What was it about the story of you episode? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's a kind of early on episode.
That's a really trippy episode.
It's a really trippy episode. But yeah, so it's either a town that's kind of like in a wormhole kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or there's like a portal to an alternate universe just outside the town. Or quote unquote just outside the town. Yeah. So like people can't leave, but like they can enter kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like storybook from Once Upon a Time, basically.
Kind of, yeah.
It's like where people can come in, but they just can't leave. It's like Hotel California.
Yeah. But
that's why I should have did first. I shouldn't have went all like Disney.
Yeah.
Should have went like more classic.
But yeah, it's either something like that, just based off of the information we get from the Story of You episode, or it's more like just alternate universe America.
Yeah.
Or alternate universe world, I should say.
I like to think about it is it's the same universe,
but like just this town that has insane things happening, but nobody leaves, so they don't know that that's not normal.
That or it's the thing of those creatures and like the supernatural stuff that we witness. That's where they can just relax and like actually that's where everyone lives.
Okay, I kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Welcome to Nightfall was, I count as my very first podcast. It was the very first thing that I just listened to audio-based. It wasn't on YouTube. I know this is probably going to take people off, but I don't really count stuff that's on YouTube as podcasts. I know we upload our podcast on there, but it's kind of the thing of like, especially if YouTube's the only place you're uploading.
Well, the reason why we do it is because we done it ever since kind of the start of the channel, and then also it's that thing of like if you all these don't have any like thing like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever you listen to podcast, like if you can't listen to podcasts, you can always rely on YouTube to always have an episode.
Yeah. And I know, like, you guys used to always upload on SoundCloud, but honestly, a lot of people don't use SoundCloud, so that's the reason I always just listen to the podcasts on YouTube.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I only did that because, like, I knew, like, I think in one of the episodes somebody mentioned the SoundCloud, that you guys are posting on SoundCloud, and I just decided, like, oh, they're also posting on YouTube, so I might as well, like...
Just wait.
Yeah, just, like, wait for it to get uploaded to YouTube.
That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, like, as long as you're uploading not just on YouTube, like, if you're uploading on just an audio-based platform also, like, it still kind of counts. But, like, I don't really like how people are just trying to call everything a podcast now.
Yeah, I don't like that. Which we can discuss that after a commercial break.
Yeah. So we should probably just go to the commercial break and talk about it.
Yeah, this is press pause on that. Welcome, listeners. It's your best friend, it's your favorite host. Well, hopefully favorite host. I won't get offended if it's not. That also, I had another bit, I totally lost it. I had it in my brain, but then like, my brain was just like, yeeted the thought out of my brain. So it totally smacked Gwen right in the head. So I'm sorry if you felt something tap your head at that moment. She's right beside me, but she's not saying anything. It's Brandon here. Hi. I mean, if you've been listening to the podcast, then you know who I am. It's Adme. It's the Sailor Moon version of me, but you know, I'm just not going to go there because there's going to be a lot of weird fan eye if I continue with the bit. But yeah, no. We as podcasts love doing this show and love doing everything else like that. But we also have a YouTube channel, which you lovelies can actually go to, and we do video games there. Like, we're going to be playing the new Animal Crossing here in a couple weeks. We're going to be doing... What are we doing? We're doing Super Mario Odyssey. at the time being, yeah, she's shaking her head, yes. You can speak.
Okay.
You don't have to, like, be quiet. Then also we do, like, Legend of Zelda, we do amazing games. So go check us out. The link to our YouTube channel is, like, somewhere around the area. It's generally up in the summary of the podcast. That's why I want to keep it up there, so it doesn't have to be that cluttered down in the description, because I need to clean that up. But yeah, no, also, there's a link up in the summary of the show where you can actually donate however much you want to actually go and support the show and to, like, help us get more research and play more games on the YouTube channel and stuff like that. And which that equals out to more content for you lovelies, and it actually helps us out too. So it's basically a win-win, if you know what I mean. Then also, we talk about a lot of podcasts on this show, so I might as well shout some out. Like Whitney Broccoli. Again, she was my social media instructor at ICB, which is the International College of Broadcasting down in Dayton, Ohio. It's like a couple blocks away from the Air Force Museum, just so you get like a rough estimate about like where it's at. But if you run into the mall, you've gone a completely different way. You gotta like go back to check the other way. Well, I guess one of you run into the Wright State.
Wright State, yeah.
Yeah, if you run into Wright State, you've gone too far. You gotta go back the other way. It's like the same distance, but a little bit closer. Yeah, they're at the International College of Broadcasting. Before I talk about Whitney's show, is where you can learn to do podcasts like we do, and you can learn to do radio stuff, and anything that you see on TV, you can learn to do that there at that school. So that, and also if you're interested in music, if you make some really cool beats or anything like that, you can actually get a college degree about like being a producer, actually learning what it takes to get to that point of you either making your own music or doing your own podcast or doing your own radio show or doing anything. Go check out the International College of Broadcasting today. They have their own website. Just type in icb.edu and
sorry.
Hey Siri, dude.
Stop! You're triggering the iPad.
She thought that I said.
She's triggered.
And now I should probably stop with the Siri talk. Anyways. So Whitney Broccoli's podcast, again, like what we said earlier in the episode, is called Pink Lemonade Podcast. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But it is, let me read from the description, because I'm going to mess this up. And hold on real quick. Yeah, Pink Lemonade Podcast. That's literally what it's called. The newest episode from like this point, she's doing a little break, so the last episode was from November 13th, and that is the newest episode. What she has up there is called How to Attract What You Want in Life, and she just talks about like, hey, life can be pretty crazy. This is the steps that you can take, and like the advice that you need. It's basically just an advice show, but she's an amazing person. I highly respect her for what she does, and she actually does some pretty good advice. And also, this show really wouldn't have happened without her push. So go and support her. She's an amazing person. She has amazing talks. I'm surprised she hasn't been on TED Talk, to be honest with you. That's how amazing her podcast is, and that's how amazing she is as well. And that also, do you want to talk about the other podcasts that we want to shout out? Or no?
What?
You just gone, aren't you?
No, what?
Do you want to shout out some other podcasts that we listen to?
What ones did you shout out? I was gone.
Just the Pink Lemonade Podcast.
Well, I mean, definitely the McElroy podcasts. They're, I don't really want to talk too much about them because we're going to talk about them in literally a second.
Yeah, after this ad break, we're going to be talking about them. So, yeah, stick around till after the break. We're going to be talking about the McElroy.
Yeah, McElroy
all the
podcasts.
Just about all the podcasts because we listen to a lot of them. They were from a small town. Well, they're from Huntington.
That's not small town West Virginia. That's big town West Virginia.
That's big town West Virginia. I'm from Ohio. Don't blame me.
You're just like, oh, this is a small town. And it's like, this is big town.
Because Ohio taught me that if it's in West Virginia, it's a small town.
Yeah, honestly, though. Sadly, it's not.
Thanks, Ohio. I appreciate it. We've been through Huntington many times, too.
We have. I used to go there a lot when I was younger.
Yeah. My parents would never stop.
There's one time we drove through and it was completely flooded.
Jeez.
It was terrifying. I thought we were going to die.
I think that's another story for another time. But...
It wasn't one of the really bad floodings, but it was like flooding pretty bad.
Yeah, I think I stopped in McDonald's there. That was Point Pleasant. We're getting off.
Point Pleasant.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's, I guess, the podcast that we're going to be shouting out. Then also, welcome to Night Vale. Gwen literally just said what it was. It's just a radio show that's a little bit, to us it's weird. To them it's normal.
Yeah.
Meaning that, like, there's supernatural creatures or there's supernatural events that happen there.
But it's not like the stereotypical supernatural. It's like they created their own.
That's your toe, by the way. Yeah.
They created, like, their own creatures and stuff like that. Like, almost like local fantasy cryptids. That hurts so bad.
Yeah, that's what I do during the ad break. I just pop Gwen's toes.
Yeah, you're weird. Oh.
Anyway.
It hurts. It's so cold in here that my toes are frozen, so because you're snapping them. No, please, mercy. Ow.
Then also, yeah, so then also, I think that's all the ads that we have for this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's literally, oh, sorry, no, that's not.
I love you.
I love you too.
Oh, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the lovelies.
Oh. Yeah, I love you too. I'm not talking to Gwen, I'm talking to the lovelies.
He's talking to you guys.
Yeah.
We don't love each other. We just love you guys.
Yeah.
Every time you hear us say that we love you, like, we're not saying that to each other. We're saying that to you guys.
Yeah, I'm not saying that as a mutual support system. It's just like, in reality, we're just like, you are loving this game, aren't you?
Yeah.
Then also, what is this? We are at a conference down in Orlando right now. Actually, right now, as this podcast is going to go up.
We're still in Ohio right now.
But
recording,
but the day that we're posting this is the day that we're going to be down in Florida.
Yeah.
So we're down in Florida right now.
Woo!
For a big podcast festival that we get to learn what is more interesting, like what to do and what not to do and stuff like that. It gives us some advice so we can do our job better, basically. Yeah. That also, after that, we're gonna go to Gem City.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a little con. I
forgot about that.
Yeah, we should have a name for the con events, like one of these.
Con Watch.
Con Watch?
Yeah, Con Watch.
Yeah, so that was Face Con Watch, which was Podfest. The second one is Gem City, which is when? I remember. Do you not remember?
April 24th through the 25th. It's either that or the 25th through the 26th. Give me a second.
It's the 25th through the 26th of April, which is...
Oh, I was going to say lies, but then I looked it up. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Gem City Con is April 25th through the 26th. It is right beside the Oregon District in Sinclair Community College. So it's like right smack dab in the middle between those two areas. Actually, a little bit closer to the Oregon District. So...
Yeah. Oh, it's a lot closer to Oregon District.
Yeah, it's like...
a block away.
It is. So yeah, you can go there, get some nice food, and pay your respects, and just have it like... It's actually pretty nice area to walk in.
Yeah.
They have an amazing bookstore.
Yeah.
So if you're like getting sick of the con or something, like you just want to get some fresh air, you can walk down there, pop in.
Get sick of a con like that. It's an awesome con.
Yeah, it's like don't.
Super chill.
Well, if you want to get some food.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, go to Gym City, which is the 25th through the 26th
Yeah.
of April. And we're gonna be there probably both days. For one day.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you zone in. Feel super bad.
I am stressed out about going to Podfest, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna probably be there both days of Gym City.
Yeah, because that's close to my hometown.
Yeah, so it's gonna be easy. But then the next con is going to maybe be June 4th through the 7th. That is Colossal Con. We're considering maybe going down for 2 days.
Maybe.
Like the first 2 days.
Yeah.
But if we can't, then, it's kind of more like a, like,
It's a
like
possibility because
a possible con watch.
Yeah, that and also because my hometown does a big chalet festival.
That same weekend.
Always the first weekend of June.
And well, they have some stuff on Friday night, but it's mainly Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's why we're thinking, we could go Thursday and Friday of the con, and then just be back here in time for like the festival.
Yes.
So if we're not at Colossal Con, we'll be at the Strawberry Festival.
Yeah, which you can.
Troy.
Yeah.
So yeah, just look up Troy, Ohio Strawberry Festival, and you'll probably, if you go, you'll probably see us there.
Yeah. I mean, again, for any of these, like, you can literally just stop and say hi or do anything that is with consent, that is.
Yeah, and like, we've had what we've thought were I have never been approached by an actual lovely.
Yeah.
You were at the mall a couple times where somebody came up and was like, are you insert thing here?
Yeah.
Or, they got excited and like were just wanting to talk about like us by name and stuff. But like at cons and stuff, people act like they know us, but they're either too scared to like ask straight up like, hey, are you so and so, or they come up and ask for like a hug or like to talk, but it's kind of just like, I don't know if this person is just naturally like they want to talk and have a hug, or if they want that because they're fans.
Yes.
Which I'm fine with both. But it's the kind of thing of like, don't be scared to ask. Like, if you think you see us, like, if you go someday say, hey,
I know
are
that
you,
voice.
like,
Are you these people? I've seen your videos that you do live action. It's been a few months because
it's been since December since we did live action.
Yeah, it's because it's been so cold.
Well, and you did like all of the ideas I had, like we couldn't really do. So.
But yeah, no, like more live action stuff is coming on the way. It's just,
yeah.
let us get through this winter phase because this winter is just kicking our butts.
Yeah, so like you can look back at like our stuff, and if you think you recognize us, don't be scared to come up and like ask.
We are socially awkward too.
Yeah, so like it can always be embarrassing to go up to the wrong person and go, hey, are you so and so, and have them go, no.
Yeah.
It is awkward, but a lot of times, like in my experience, when like I've been at cons and gone up to people and asked them if they were a certain character, they're usually not offended. They're usually not like, I know that's different, but like also like in person, like asking, oh, are you so and so? Like if a person says no, it's more just like they're also kind of awkward about it. They're just like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm not them.
Yeah.
It's just like they're usually not like cruel and like, no,
Yeah.
get out of my face.
Yeah, but if you see us, you're more than welcome to have a hug, take selfie, or like just chill and talk with us. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that we are gonna be July 10th through the 12th. We are gonna be at Indie PopCon.
Whoa, we always go to Indy.
Which is in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Indiana.
Yes, that's where Indianapolis is, Gwen.
Yeah, thought maybe I would, specify because, like, people, I don't know, like, maybe they are hearing us wrong and they think we're saying Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to get those mixed up. I thought they were the same place.
I've been to Minneapolis. I'm never gonna go back.
Minneapolis?
I'm sorry from people that live in Minnesota.
I don't know if I've ever been to Minnesota.
I've been to Minnesota.
But it's not fun.
Yeah, the last time I was there, like, they literally had nothing. Like, it was just open field forever.
I have been to Minnesota. Because I was somewhere when I was, like, on my way to Arkansas with my family.
Oh, no,
Like-
that Minnesota's not anywhere near Arkansas.
Okay, because we were going to Arkansas, like, for a family thing, and it was just, I don't know what state we were in. I was a kid.
That's, like, mostly...
It was flat, and it was cornfields for hours.
Then you must have been in
No towns.
Indiana or Illinois.
He was Illinois. And out of nowhere, there's this giant synagogue in the middle of a cornfield. And then it was gone, and it was back to cows and corn for as far as the eye can see. And it was just like, did I hallucinate the giant synagogue we just passed? Going like 60 or 70 on this highway? I think the corn is getting to me because I just saw a giant synagogue on the side of the road.
You know what?
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that, we might go to MatsuriCon, which is August. I'm pretty sure it's either the 14th through the 16th or the 21st through the 23rd. It's usually around that time. That's in Columbus.
Yeah, which is your hometown.
Yeah. And then,
Which,
after that, we don't really have...
yeah, we don't really have any cons besides possibly Galaxy Con down in
Yeah.
Gatlinburg. Lexington?
Yep. Kentucky.
Okay.
You were thinking another state down.
Yeah. So we won't really go to any more cons this year.
After the summer, really.
Yeah, after the summer.
Unless we go to that one, but...
That was we just randomly go to one like for my birthday and be like, hey, this is the same weekend. Let's go.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what's coming up.
yeah, which we also go to OhioCon, just so you lovelies now, like, we're playing ahead. We're always going to be there every single year.
And we try to tell our cosplay lineups that way. Not only, like, are you trying to find us, like, it'll narrow it down in the big crowds to, like, oh, they're going to be cosplaying as these characters on these days. So,
Yeah.
like, if I see somebody comment, like, I'm going to put together a Mimikyu cosplay for the con in the summer. And
Indie?
For Indie, and I'm going to wear it also at OhioCon. Indie's kind of be my test run of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh, I just need to look for a Mimikyu cosplayer and see if they're with whoever Brandon's cosplaying as that day. You know, and if you see those two together, it's probably
you're
us.
cosplaying Bulbasaur, but with a bass guitar.
Oh, you're gonna do that?
Yeah, probably.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the... Can we do a really cool, like, do the con watch?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, that's too much.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so that's the, I guess, the first official name thing of
You
Conwatch.
scare me.
This is my iPad.
Yeah, you're gonna drop it on the floor and crack it. There's no screen protector on it. You're gonna destroy it.
I can slam my iPhone on the ground and it'll be still fine.
I can barely drop my iPhone, and even with a screen protector, it'd probably get destroyed. I mean, I've only had it for a few months.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got a screen protector. There's a giant scratch through it. A giant one. I look at your phone, there's like no scratches, and mine already.
It's flawless.
Yours has like, you've had it for like 2 years. I've had mine for 2 months, and it has like a giant scratch down the screen.
Then you look at my watch.
Like a deep one. It's just like...
Then you look at my watch and it's just like, you see a big gash in the top left-hand corner. It's like, wow, did this happen?
Mine's like right down the middle of the screen.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's very noticeable.
yeah, so let's get back to the actual show.
Yeah, we've been talking for way too long.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this show is, just us
Talking, yeah, for way too long.
us talking about actual, like, facts and everything. Way too long.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Alright, yeah, let's go back. Let's unpause the actual talk. No, it wasn't.
Oh well.
Here, your wine bag before. Nope. Let's just continue with the show, please. What are you now, tape record? Come on, man.
Yeah, that was the pause button getting, like, clicked.
Oh, okay. Are you possibly play on that?
Yeah, we're going. Okay, we're going.
Fine.
We're on. We're here. Here we are.
I'm confused.
Okay, so, well, you wanted me to talk about why
is it upsetting to you that everything is being called podcast? Because it also upsets me.
Because it's not. It's your video show. It's your little reality show.
Yes.
Like, you know how like Ellen has her show and Oprah has her show.
It's just a talk show.
Wendy has. Yeah, you're just doing a talk show. If it's on video, it is a talk show. It's not a podcast.
Yeah.
But like if you're doing it,
has to be audio.
Yeah, like I don't like it. Yeah, it's just I don't like it. It's upsetting because it's kind of like now everybody's. Like talk shows aren't cool anymore, so they're like, oh, how can we coin on podcasts? Let's just call, like, we want to do a podcast, but we don't want to go through the trouble of like figuring out how to upload ourselves or to pay a company to upload for us on these platforms.
Yeah.
Or we don't really feel like just uploading on SoundCloud, which doesn't sound that hard to do.
It's not that hard to do.
Yeah, and it's just like, and so we're just gonna take a video of it, not just audio. They're gonna take both audio and video. See, like, that's the difference is we found that, like, it upsetted me when I would record podcasts with you because I would be, like, visibly, like, uncomfortable and not really wanting to talk on camera. Because, like, I deal with a lot of, like, it's, like, not really diagnosed. It was more, like, self-diagnosed kind of body dysmorphia, but, like, I don't see what most people see when they see me. Like, I see the more negative.
Yeah.
I don't see anything good about myself physically.
Well, that's what I also see about myself, too.
So it made me very self-conscious being on camera. I was constantly adjusting. I constantly looked uncomfortable. I was constantly making faces and staring in the camera, like, uncomfortably. And it was bad. And it made for worse content. And it also made it hard to, like, smoothly edit to make it not seem like it was cut every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And, like, spliced together. So, yeah, like, it made me uncomfortable because I feel like it's kind of harder to be yourself. And, like, it felt like this isn't a podcast. I'd rather be able to just sit down and talk instead of, like, needing to get lighting set up and get outfits planned out and do makeup and, you know, I want to be able to just sit down and do research and spend my time on research, not spend my time on, shoot, we have to film a podcast this weekend. I need to plan my outfit. I need to
do all this
makeup.
Stuff.
I need to plan my jewelry. I need to plan all this stuff. And I know I don't need to, but it's the kind of thing of, like, that's how the show was kind of put together. It's like, it made it feel like we need to wear something themed as whatever the podcast was going to be about. So I didn't really, I don't really like that. And it felt more like a video show.
Yeah.
Like a talk show on TV. And I don't like how people, just because of, I guess, like, laziness, it would actually be, like, less lazy to just cut the video out of your stuff, the original video out, and just splice in a picture or a GIF.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's literally what that's what we used to do, or what sometimes I would do. Like, if we recorded, before we started recording just audio, we're recording on an audio program.
Yes.
Back when we recorded on video, we didn't do that. But recording on just audio makes it easier to upload on those other things.
Then also right now, if you're listening to us on YouTube, the image that you see up on the screen, hi, you just now look at the screen probably.
Yeah, for the first time.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. You're probably doing a housewalk and just being like, is he talking to me? Like, what's going on?
Or you're like me and you're playing, like, Minecraft or Sudoku or something.
It's like, whoa.
Like, whoa, he called me out.
I'm playing the new Animal Get off of there. Stop talking to Tom. I know.
Tom, what's that bonfire? Tom, what are you doing with him? No! Just threw that
causing memes are the best. Anyways, you see the image that's on. Yeah, okay, you're good. You're shaking your head. Yes. The image that you see up on the screen, that's our logo for the podcast. If you like go and search us up on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever else podcasts are posted through, like that's our thing that you can like go and see. Like you can even find us on iHeartRadio now.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we're iHeart team now.
Ooh. We're on your turf.
Yeah, broken hearted, just kicking in the door and be like, hey.
This is my land now.
No,
this land was your land, now this land is my land. That would make the song a lot darker if it was this land was your land.
I'm shaking my head now. That's this. Nope.
I mean, it would be more accurate to the history.
Yeah, it'll be more accurate to the history, but still.
What the history books like to teach us, but I'm sorry.
It's not average Thanksgiving dinner, I guess. Sorry, I didn't like your face. Just like
I'm talking. Yeah, I don't like. How I don't like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just looked at the audio stream and my mic spiked.
So bad.
You have to turn that down.
I am. And that.
Or just cut it out.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah.
But yeah, no, like.
Do you want to go on to the next topic? Or are we not done yet talking about how we don't like the video based?
We don't like the video based because it also confuses old people.
Yes, anything that's not a gaming video, your parents call podcasts.
Yes.
I don't think they don't know what a podcast is. Like anytime we did a live action video, that was like a special thing, like the
To the Power
videos.
I can't wait till those come back.
Yeah, same. They would always call those podcasts, and I tried correcting them multiple times, but I found like to stop correcting them because they would get mad because they're like, well then why aren't you uploading podcasts? It's like, we are. And they're like, but you just told me that's not a podcast. It's like, we're doing just audio stuff.
But now they're understanding of like,
yeah, there's so your mom's getting better at it. She's more understanding what podcasts are, but I know
my parents are getting better. Just like, oh, those are what podcasts are. It's not video, it's
one
audio.
One thing that kind of rustled, my gears or whatever.
Rustled your feathers.
Rustled my feathers. Almost like rustled my jimmies.
That's a term I've never heard for a long time.
Oh, I say that all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Rustle my jimmies. But yeah, when your dad was like, you guys don't make podcasts with your faces anymore in them. You need to put video back in it. What are you thinking? You're gonna not get any more viewership on your videos. And it's like,
we're getting more views.
Like, how do I break the news to him that we weren't doing podcasts before and that now we actually are doing podcasts?
Yeah.
Like, how do I do that? It's like, I'm gonna have to shatter the glass ceiling,
Just go on BuzzFeed and be like, we have over 100 audience members now.
Just on that was just within the past month.
Yeah.
Less than the past month.
Yeah, that's been a while.
No, you started at the beginning of.
Yeah, we started in the beginning of January.
More like mid-January. Well, yeah, you're right at the beginning of January.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been 2 months now.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just that thing of also it does confuse old people if you call your stuff a podcast and it's mostly relies on. I wouldn't even say mostly. Even if you just have video of live feed of what you're yourself talking.
Yeah.
You're gonna confuse people who don't know any better. This is their first interaction with finding out what a podcast is. They're gonna start thinking, oh, it's just a new name for this what we're already familiar with. And
to help de-confuse people, I guess.
Yeah.
To make it use that term, is if they always listen to radio shows, say it's like that.
But on the internet.
But on the internet.
Yeah, like my mom, when I would listen to Welcome to Night Vale, she was like, what is it? And I'm like, it's an audio drama. Like, and she's like, oh, is it based off of like a book? And I was like, no, it's not an audio book, it's just an audio drama. Like it's a podcast. And she was like, what's that? Because she had never heard that term before.
Yeah.
So I had to explain to her that it's like a radio drama, like to go back and like when my parents were kids and stuff, like the Lone Ranger and things like that, that they would listen to as kids and teens, you know. It's like that, but where sometimes it does have multiple voice actors in it, but sometimes it's just the same one, just doing character voices. But it's just audio based.
Yeah, which I love doing audio based stuff. That's why a lot of this channel is audio based.
Yeah. Because
was my favorite thing that I did in college. If you didn't notice. But yeah, I think audio is the way to go. I think a lot of people are trying so hard to have video be like, no, this is the newest hottest thing ever. It's just like, no, it's not.
Yeah, radio is still gonna stick around for a while.
In the terms of my radio instructor, radio still works because it's red hot. Yeah, and for those who don't know the terms for the different radio terms, it means that you're always going to be on there no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, radio is still going to be there, like audio based stuff is still going to be around.
Yeah.
Even long after video has died, it's still going to be around. That's why vinyl is also coming back. So yeah.
Yeah.
Then also, if you notice, my mic cover is also red. Because,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's black because I'm quieter, so it's not as red hot when I talk.
Then also, it's just like that thing of like, I'm the main person.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for me to have like the special
one.
The special one.
But yeah, on to the actual like next topic we're trying to get on to.
Yeah, we have 4 topics.
What drew you to the podcasts you talked about before the ad break? So the first podcasts, we'll talk about the first podcast you got. Like, what drew you to those ones, like Ear Biscuits, Good Mythical Morning, and the
Dragons
one.
and Places.
Dragons and Places.
I should do it in order. So it went Good Mythical Morning, which that was a pretty funny story. I was at home on YouTube, you know, I was just like, it was like kind of late at night, so I was just like in that conspiracy mode, you know what I mean? Like when people like really late at night, like going on YouTube, and like after 5 videos, you're just like,
how did I get here?
Yeah, kind of like that thing. So I was like looking up different time travel stuff, because, you know, like I do, or like what normal people do. And I saw an episode that Good Mythical Morning did about time travel. I'm like, I might as well. I should probably check this out.
Yeah. And
so after that, I was just hooked, and turns out, like, I found out that they did it just about every morning, and I was like, cool. And
they started out, I don't think they started out every single morning, because they both had like regular jobs, I think, at that time.
Yeah.
So they had to like focus on those, but like on the mornings where they could like go in later, I think is when they were able to like work it out with their work schedule to be able to film Good Mythical Morning.
Yeah. So I would just, every single morning, whenever I would used to pick up my friends and we all would go to school together, I would always just turn on Good Mythical Morning. And we'd just go to school and listen to it and go on our business, basically. And then, like, that flash forward, like, kind of a couple of years later, Game Grumps was like announcing that they was gonna do like a Dungeons and Dragons thing, and I was just like, during that time I didn't know what Dungeons and Dragons was.
Okay.
Like, I had a basis about what it was, but it's a thing of like, here's a thing that I've heard about but never really knew Like, I watched the cartoon, and that was basically it.
Oh, I didn't watch the cartoon.
I watched the cartoon, I loved it.
I listened as a kid to this Christian radio drama. I'm not going to mention the name of it, but the episode I was listening to came out in either the 80s or 90s. And
Was it The Darkest Dungeon?
No.
No.
But basically what it was is it started off with the guy who created the audio drama, and he like sat down and was like, hey, like this is definitely one that parents should listen to with their kids so they can explain like what it's about, kind of. But basically it's about like one of the main character, his cousin comes over to visit for the summer and stay with his family. And his cousin is into this like live action role-playing game.
Oh, Loppy.
Yeah, but it's basically D&D. Because it has to do with dies in a book, and he starts talking about warlocks and things like that, and it's a Christian like audio like drama. So
it just seems like
it's basically like making it out to be like they start thinking they're getting like these magical powers and stuff, and they start getting into like Satanism. Basically, like not like it wasn't like cringy kind of way, but it was kind of like as a kid, it was kind of like that spiraled
way too quickly.
No, it didn't spiral quickly at all. It kind of went from like, oh, this is just a fun game, to like a few weeks later, it's like, okay, we're gonna make the game a little bit different now, and it just slowly got more like, oh, now we're starting a seance.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that thing of like, how did I get here? It's kind of like we started out just goofing off.
Wait a minute.
Playing with pieces of wood in the woods, pretending they were swords, and pretending we could hear the metal clanking. And now we're in a tent in my backyard, and we have candles, and you want to cut both our hands open so we can summon a demon.
No, it's always Cthulhu.
No, in this one it was a demon.
Oh my goodness.
Or it was a witch king or something like that, like from another realm.
I'm sorry, but that audio drama sounds like a bootleg. If Christian stuff had a bootleg, I think, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just seems like a bootleg of The Darkest Dungeon.
No, it's more like The Darkest Dungeon was a bootleg off of the audio drama, because the audio drama was around since like the 70s, and like Darkest Dungeon didn't come out until like the 80s or 90s. It's just this specific episode didn't come out until...
I think they came out around the same time, so I guess it was like that fad that was going on.
It was that thing of like a lot of Christian parents, like, because like most D&D stuff is tame.
Yeah.
But like some kids were getting real crazy, like actually hurting themselves, like cutting their hands open to like do like seances and stuff, or not seances, but like blood sacrifices to like try and summon things. And it's like kids shouldn't.
Where was this in the D&D history thing that we was panel that
Nobody
we was at?
wants to talk about the dark side of it and what kids were taking to extremes. It's not like the book tells you to do that. It was more a thing where kids were like taking what they read from the book and then adding on it and then adding on it and then going, hey, we have to cut our hands open now.
Yeah. If you don't get a 20.
Don't roll that 20. I'm gonna actually stab you in the face.
Yeah. But
Constitution wisdom saving throw, my dude. Oh, what's that? You got a 3? That ain't gonna pass. Did I tell you about
I think that's another story for another time.
I rolled a 1. I rolled a nat 1 on a wisdom saving throw. It was the pre-campaign.
Oh.
We hadn't even gotten into the haunted house yet. That was the actual campaign. We were still traveling to the haunted house. We were literally right outside it. I almost made it into the campaign, guys, and I rolled a 1.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, we'll talk about it in our Dungeons and Dragons episode.
Which will probably be next month.
Yeah.
So yeah, what did draw you to the D&D?
Around that time, Stranger Things came out.
Really? It took you that long?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, okay.
Yeah, it was just like...
I thought that came out way before Stranger Things started.
No, it did, actually. No, that was my first instinct to Dungeons and Dragons, because it was that thing of like, I've heard about this, but I don't know what it is. And then I was like listening to it, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Then I completely forgot all about it until Stranger Things. I'm like, that's what they was playing. And then I guess a few months later, well, not a few months, but like a couple years later, like when we was first started dating, we went to OhioCon, and your sister and like there was a lot of people dressed up from the podcast called The Venture Zone, which is another D&D podcast, which is a highly recommended podcast. Which is another D&D podcast, which is highly recommended, called The Venture Zone. Which, do you want to describe it?
It depends which story. They actually have 3 now.
I'm talking about the main.
The main first one.
Yes.
Is Balance, and it is about 3 basically kind of like mercenaries, I guess. Like
3 idiots.
3 idiots get hired to transport or to go out and find an item, a magical item, and to basically guard this guy who's going to go out to try and find it, and hijinks ensue.
I think I shouldn't describe it.
Without giving spoilers?
Yes, without giving spoilers. Okay, so Adventure Zone is about 3 idiots that go out and that are hired to go out and try to find these relics so they can bring them back and have them destroy it. And again, like Gwen said, hijinks ensue and some stuff goes down that you wouldn't think that stuff would go down. And just, yeah, we highly recommend it. Then also the second, they have like 3 stories that they're doing that are not intertwined, but like different shows, I guess, that's in the main podcast. I guess we can say it like that.
Yeah.
Which the second campaign that they did was called Amnesty.
And it's actually not D&D.
It's not D&D, but it's from this new thing called Monster of the Week, which is a murder mystery, basically, where you have a dungeon master, and you have players, but the players basically make up the story. The dungeon master tells you, hey, this is like where it takes place. This is the possible story outline that you're going to follow. And they make up the monster, they make up how many hits it takes, and basically this is no one dungeon master.
Yeah.
And the players like figure out the story for themselves and actually include their own thoughts and opinions and make up NPCs on their own, stuff like that. And for the Venture Zone, their campaign of it was called Amnesty, which followed a park ranger, a magician, and somebody that is like Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just a guy that's out for a buck. Yeah. And he'll just make up the wildest stories just to get money out of it. And so they all wind up all together after a creature sighting at a specific spot, and they are hired to go and monster hunt. And basically this follows a story about them monster hunting, which that I've cried over any story, podcast and show wise. That series will make you cry and make you laugh your hardest. That, and also being a fan of Supernatural, going into it, I highly recommend listening to Amnesty. Again, after you listen to Balance, just so you can get used to how they are.
Yeah, how they goof around, how they act, things like that.
And then the third show.
And so like Balance is more like takes place in like a fantasy world, whereas like Amnesty takes place in
nowadays,
like recent time, or not recent but present time. Made up town in West Virginia, and they kind of pinpointed like where the made up town is supposed to be based off. It's in
the Radio Dead Zone.
Yeah.
West Virginia, which the actual national park that it takes place starts with an A.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like trying to like think about it in my head, but yeah, it's an actual place that you can go and visit, so you can actually listen to it, I think, if they're okay with it, we download it offline, because you can't have your phone or anything that's on the wire. I mean, you can listen to podcasts probably, but yeah, the third campaign that they're doing, actually as of right now, is called Graduation. It's about what if in the fantasy world, if heroes and villains and psychics all go to school to do literally that, to become a hero or to become a villain or to become a psychic, and just follows these, like, again, these three idiots that go to school, and we find out that, like, they all come from different backgrounds. Like, we get, like, a field bulk, which has been around for, like, since the beginning of D&D. Oh, yeah,
Sure.
it's basically, it's like a woodland troll, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and also there is, I forget what one of the characters is playing as, but there's another one who's a half-elf that actually went to the night school of the school that they're going to, but he got kicked out.
Oh,
So he has
great.
to go through the sidekick route.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah. All throughout the entire campaign so far, he's just like, hey, can I, like, exchange my credits that I got, please? But yeah, then also I listened to My Brother and Me, which Gwen's gonna explain that.
Yeah.
So.
But,
yeah.
So basically, the third campaign thing they're doing right now is if My Hero Academia, Sky High, and Hogwarts
We're all.
were all combined together.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that sounds like a wild ride.
It is.
So yeah, that's what. So yeah, what drew you to those podcasts?
You and your family. Then also I listened to Sawbones.
Yeah, you don't need to list all the podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, especially the ones you mentioned before that break,
Yeah.
like Good Mythical Morning, Ear Biscuits. Mando, Red and Link are kind of. They're kind of fun to listen to. They're goofy,
Yeah.
entertaining. But they keep it clean, but like they'll do like innuendos and like kind of stuff like that, but not like a lot. So when they do make an innuendo, it's kind of just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And it makes it even more the funnier.
Then also I have literally one podcast I was gonna list, but then you just cut me right off.
Oh.
It was Welcome to Night Vale, which we've talked about a lot in this
Yeah.
episode.
So yeah, I got drawn to Welcome to Night Vale because I always loved that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the weird and the unusual.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. And like, just kind of for comparison, like one of my favorite audiobooks to listen to was The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman.
Oh, the same dude that made The Good Omens. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Neil Gaiman that made The Graveyard Book. It's about a kid whose parents die, and their last
Jesus.
request is they drop off their baby at a graveyard. I'm pretty sure they were murdered. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But they died basically somehow, like a horrific way. And their last little, like with the last little bit of spiritual energy they have, they drop their kid off with this supernatural caretaker person at the graveyard. And basically, he's safe as long as he stays in the graveyard. And he's raised in this graveyard.
Jeez.
It's really cool. It's a really good book.
It's a cool concept.
There is a part where he falls down into the underworld, and the way they describe it is very horrifying.
Yeah.
It's not how most people describe the underworld. It was very unique and very cool. But yeah, so Welcome to Night Vale reminded me a lot of that, and with just the weirdness that was going on and the supernatural stuff that was going on, it was just kind of like, it was funny. I mean,
Yeah.
it's weird. So I was drawn to that just because it's what I was always drawn to as a kid. Same with the Rhett and Link stuff. Like, I had been watching them since like the beginning of their YouTube channel.
Jeez.
So when Good Mythical Morning happened and Ear Biscuits happened, like I was there when they first started it.
See, that's me, but with PewDiePie. I was there when Felix stuff.
Yeah, I was there when Felix and Markiplier both started.
Yeah. I watched Markiplier when he first started, but I
I fell out of watching him. Like, I watched a bunch of his Minecraft videos, and then I stopped watching him for like 5 years, and then I started watching him again.
I think that's what happened to me.
And I was like, oh yeah, it's this guy. And people were like, what do you mean it's this guy? We only found out about him like in the past 2 years, and it's like, I've been watching his Minecraft videos. They're like, he has Minecraft videos? Like, that's how like much content had come out and stuff. Like, people kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, and when it came to like the Adventure Zone, and like I had, my sister had first gotten into High Rulers and Critical Role for D&D podcasts, which I tried getting into, but for some reason there was something I just couldn't really get into about them.
I listened to the first episode of Critical, which is basically this character backstory, but I'm going to listen to their first campaign, like the first episode of the first campaign. I've been putting it off. I probably have been listening to it like whenever this podcast comes out, but you know how I am.
Yeah.
And like, I'll probably listen to it. I'll probably describe it in the next episode.
I just realized what it was that I couldn't get attached to it as easily.
What?
Because I remember what it was that got me into the Adventure Zone. Because I remember being skeptical when my sister was like, try listening to this one I just found out. Like, I just found out that, like, the McElroys, like, they just started a D&D podcast. And I kind of put it off for a while, and then finally she was like, you need to listen to this. Because it's not like High Rulers, it's not like Critical Role. With Critical Role and High Rulers and things like that, these are people who have already played D&D. And they focus on the rules a lot, and they focus on that kind of thing. So
that's what turned me away from Critical for the longest time.
It's hard for people who are new to D&D, especially.
We're talking about Dungeons and Dragons for all the lilies that don't know the acronym D&D.
But yeah, like it
I got you, homies.
It can be really like intimidating and hard to like get into.
Yeah.
So that's definitely what I liked about the Adventure Zone, is that, and I finally was able to get into it, is because
they started fresh.
Yeah, they started fresh. Only one of them had dabbled in D&D, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that was it. Like, another one had played, or I think a couple of them played Magic the Gathering, but like, other than that, it was like they had like no knowledge on what D&D was.
Now, one really. of the dad of the brothers actually met.
Yeah, the creator.
Yeah. Without realizing it.
Yeah, but yeah, I got drawn to that because my sister and I had been LARPing since we were like 3 years old. Since I was like 3 years old. They're a couple years older than me, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like we had been LARPing since we were old enough to walk.
Yeah.
So we grew up LARPing, so things that were LARPing but audio-based, like an audio drama, was like, I always loved that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I always loved fantasy things and stuff like that. So, yeah, D&D was something that just kind of came naturally.
Yeah.
I actually got really worried, like, when that one Christian audio drama came out with their thing against D&D, but didn't call it D&D. They
called it something ridiculous.
No, they didn't, like, I think he may have said Dungeons and Dragons, but like at that time it had a different name, I think, the time that the episode had come out.
No.
Or like there had been other like
renditions of it, yeah. Like
called different things, and they basically said, like, because there's all these different things out here dealing with warlocks and things like that, you may want to talk for your kids. But like, since it focused on the whole role-playing thing, like, yeah. I was really, like, worried, like, oh my gosh, am I gonna go to hell for, like, goofing off with my sibling, like, in the woods? And my mom was just like, no, you're just being normal kids.
Nah, if
yeah.
you're starting anything like sacrifice or anything like that,
yeah. But yeah, so that kind of, I always loved the fantasy genre, so D&D came very naturally. So I just grew.
I've never played D&D because I've never had a group of friends or like known people that's just like, yeah, I want to play with you.
I want to play with you.
Yeah, besides you.
You had some people that wanted to play with you, but like it just wasn't the right group. It was people that weren't
besides
good friends. Really.
They wasn't good friends. That, and also like the only people that I have now, you and Ron and the lovelies on our YouTube channel will know Ron because he guest stars every once in a while. So.
But yeah.
Besides you two, I'd only. That's why we haven't had a D&D podcast yet.
Yeah.
Because, hey, if any of you lovelies want to participate, you let us know. Our email is on the YouTube channel, and then also you can just leave a comment down below on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That is any video.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, D&D just kind of came naturally, and that's why, like, playing D&D kind of came naturally, like, for, like, when my family started playing D&D together, which was years ago is when we started. We haven't gotten that far. We didn't play a whole lot, but it came very naturally because, like, all of us were into fantasy stuff, all of us had good imaginations and things like that, so it was fun.
Yeah, that's why after Florida, I kind of want to put a campaign, like, for your family, and just be like, hey, there's other stuff besides D&D that's like D&D.
Yeah. But yeah,
Because I know that your family would love Months of the Week.
yeah. But yeah, I was drawn to those podcasts we talked about before the commercial break. Mostly those podcasts, but, like, podcasts in general. Just kind of mainly because I related to them. Because I was listening, before I listened to The Adventure Zone, I listened to their comedy podcast, My Brother and Me. And I really loved that because it reminded me of goofing around with, like, my family members.
Yeah.
Like, it was that same kind of humor. It's that familial humor.
Yeah.
Especially that only people who grew up in, like, the very eastern Ohio, very western West Virginia kind of people have, you know, like, all share that same kind of humor. So, yeah, like, it was the kind of thing I was familiar with, and it reminded me of family and friends. And
see, like, whenever I first listened to it, it reminded me so much like my family.
yeah.
And for the past few months, I've been trying to get my family to go into listening to any of the McElroy stuff. And I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I've been also trying to get them to listen to our podcast. Getting there.
Yeah. So, going on to the next subject, because we don't have much time left, what do you think the impact podcasts have on the world, like, everybody, like what I wrote down the impact podcasts can have and do have on
What's the simple version of the question?
culture nowadays.
Okay, so what I think that podcasts had on our culture.
I guess, yeah, like, kind of like the impact they've had on our culture, and also, like, kind of in that emotional thing of, like, do you think they helped people? Like, that helping impact. Like, how do you think they can help people, and how do you think they can just have an impact on people?
I got you. I think podcasts in general have made a huge impact on our culture. I'm not talking about, like, just America. I'm talking about the whole entire world. Whenever I specify our culture, just moving forward, just so I don't have to keep repeating myself. I feel like that it gets more information out there.
Yeah.
It's more instant. It's more like, why should I watch this, like, our show that's just going to talk about, like, a thing where I have to watch it? Why can't I not listen to a podcast that's going to talk about literally the same exact thing, that's going to have it in half-hour format to an hour format, talking about the exact same thing that I can literally carry with me wherever I go, like whenever I'm walking around the mall, or like whenever I go on a walk, whenever I go walk out and play fitness, or wherever I walk out at, whenever I'm driving in my car. It's that thing of, like, that also is that thing of everyone's used to. Everyone's used to the radio. Everyone's used to, like, hearing stuff. It's more in our DNA to stay tuned listening to stuff than it is visually. That's why I feel like it made it such a highly impacted, and does help people, because that's what also this podcast tries to do. Like, we go after people with broken hearts. That's why it's called Broken Hearted Cast. We represent them in some way. We try to help those such people, no matter, like, that's why whenever I say, like, at the very end of the show, like, no matter who you are, no matter what you are, no matter what you do, love and respect yourself, also love and respect others, is telling that person, like, hey, even though you either, no matter what sexual orientation, what gender you are, no matter what religion, no matter what, if you have a disability or not, no matter what you look like or whatever you are, whatever you define yourself as, you can go to the show and be like, yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like, by listening to the show, you can build up that confidence and learn a few things along the way. And just build up that confidence to do the thing that you want to do in your life. Instead of keep moping around and be like, because I'm yada yada yada, I can't do it. Oh, so and so tells me I can't because of this reason. We're telling you, yes, we can. You can do it, instead of sitting around.
Yeah. I think that.
So in short, yes, I do.
Yeah. I think that podcasts can have just a really good positive impact on everyone. Like, there's a podcast for everyone. They help make the world feel less secluded, I guess.
Yeah, because
they help you be able to see people from all walks of life a bit easier. And
that, and also back in school, back in my college days, that's what they also tell people on radio, is what podcasters should do also in general, is whenever you are talking to someone over the microphone, you are specifying one person. You think about one person that you're talking to, and that's who you're aiming at. You don't say you guys or you lovelies. We say you lovelies because we're just spanning out, like, hey, whether if you're listening to this with a group of friends or anything like that,
yeah,
it's addressing all the people.
I also see it as, like, I like to say you lovelies or you guys because it's that thing of, like, you're not alone.
Exactly.
There's other people listening to the show that you're not alone out there. Like, saying, like, making it very singular, I feel like that can make people feel alone. And that's what I liked about, I guess that's what I like about things like the podcast that I do listen to, is whenever they talk to their viewers, they wouldn't specify just one viewer. Right. Unless they were saying the whole thing of, like, sponsored by, or, made possible by viewers like you. But even then, they're only barely specifying one person. They're more just saying, like, there's multiple people watching. Like, they're still mentioning that.
I like to do it both ways.
Yeah.
So it includes everybody.
Yeah. Because I know when I first, like, with the people, when you, like, first start your podcast and you're doing it mainly with people who were, like, people who were doing radio stuff and they were used to the whole, like, just singling out one person. Yeah. I don't know, those podcasts were harder for me to listen to just because, like, I felt more lonely. Yeah. Like, I was just watching a show or listening to a show. But now it's listening to a conversation or, something interactive. But then later on, like, when you were doing less stuff at your college and more stuff, like, here at the studio with, like, friends who were working on it with you, and those friends were, like, radio people too. Yeah. Like, it felt more like it was being opened up to
more people.
Like, there's lots of people watching this kind of thing. Yeah.
Because when we got the office, it was that, like, realization to us of, like, yeah, no, this is not just a school project anymore. Yeah. I'm not doing it in my small bedroom anymore. I'm doing it daily. I'm doing this professionally.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, like, personally, podcasts have had a very big impact on me positively because, like, when I was listening to Mabim Bam,
that's the shortened version of My Brother and Me.
Yeah, I was about to say that. But yeah, when I first started listening to Bim Bam, I was in an extremely toxic friendship dynamic and was being treated very badly by one of the people in my friends group and was not really being defended by anybody else in my friends group, and so I ended up, like, having to cut quite a few people out of my life. Yeah. And I lost a lot of people, and I've lost almost all my friends, and just like going from the beginning of high school to the end of high school, I went from gaining a ton of friends at the beginning of high school, then like halfway through high school, I lost almost all of them.
That's the same with me, but I put it out more with music than podcasts.
Yeah. And I did some music stuff, but like I mainly would listen to podcasts because it made it feel like it was the one thing that could make me feel happy, I guess.
Yeah.
In that very dark period of my life.
Yeah.
Which I fixed some of those friendships, you know, like just I needed to get away from some of those friends, which kind of meant leaving the whole friend group. So, but you know, I've been able to make amends with some of the friends that were in those friends group that weren't being toxic. It's just, you know, the whole dynamic of the friend group needed to end. For things to get healthy between me and like one or two of the people in the friend group.
Yeah.
So yeah, like podcasts, they can just there's really not that many negative podcasts out there, and any of the negative ones don't really get big.
No.
But yeah, we've gone like way over our time. We've ran off on some crazy off the rails
tangents.
Yeah, quite a few times. So we have a couple, actually this week, we have a couple looking
questions?
for photos. Yeah, a couple Reddits.
What?
A couple of them are the same. I just screenshotted them because they kind of had different answers, but they were basically the same question.
Yeah.
So we have, okay, two of them are the same and one of them is its own thing. So we have, what are some good podcasts for times when you are bored? So I'll go ahead first and read the responses that people on Reddit gave. One of them is under comedy and history, and it's called Think Thunk. And they said episode 7 is called Avocado Face Tat. Interesting. It's apparently not safe for work for suggestive content, but we'll have to look into that one. It sounds interesting. I'm not familiar with that one. I'm kind of familiar with one of the ones they listed off. But yeah, apparently that's a good one. And I don't know if this is a podcast name or if this is somebody tired of people talking about podcasts. But somebody just said, please stop talking podcast. I don't know if that's a podcast or if it is. Yeah,
I don't know if that is.
Or if somebody's just frustrated with the question asker. And I looked at the r/ they were typing under, and it's r/podcast suggestions. So if you're going into the r/podcast suggestions and tired that people are talking about podcasts, I think you need to spend your time somewhere else.
Yeah.
Another one somebody said is 2 Bears, 1 Cave. I'm not familiar with that one either. Stiff Socks. That's a hard one to say. Bizarro Aficionado. And then the last one they listed was Stop Podcasting Yourself, which is a Max Fund show. So that's the only reason I'm familiar with it, is because my brother and me and the Adventure Zone are both, well, that and all the rest of the McElroy podcasts are Max Fund shows. So, yeah. What would you say are good podcasts for when you're bored? List like 1, maybe 2.
1, maybe 2?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. So I found the Bob Burton, you know, the dude from Reading Rainbow.
Yeah.
I just now remember what his podcast was. It's literally called The Bob Burton Reads. And he just reads different.
He just reads.
Yeah, he literally just reads different short stories.
Nice.
Sorry, but that's not one way. That's not my answer. My answer is The Adventure Zone, and also The Adventure Zone, and also I guess Welcome to Night Vale.
Yeah, I was gonna say Welcome to Nightville or My Brother, and Me. When I'm bored and I just need like something funny to listen to or something to listen to, I like to listen to, because there's like 500 episodes now of My Brother, and Me. So I think at the time this will upload, there's gonna be over 500. So like 501 or something like that. So there's definitely a lot to listen to. I started listening around their 300th episode, and I'm in their their 250th episode, I think is what I'm listening to, and I'm only halfway there.
Yeah,
to, like,
that is me. I like this listening to the recent, and then like if I have time, I like to go back, specifically from My Brother, and Me.
Yeah, with My Brother, and Me, you almost, I feel like it's better to listen from don't worry about missing out, because like you're not missing out on a story. You won't really get spoilers.
Yeah.
If you get spoiled a bit, you listened to one of their funny bits earlier. You know, it's kind of like, it's a bit that
I'm going to reference in the next episode that we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
So.
But yeah, like, it's kind of the thing where it's like, they reference things sometimes, they'll make a joke, then 20 episodes later, they'll reference that same joke and bit again. Yeah. So you it can be kind of awkward listening to the recent episodes first, instead of like going from the first episodes towards the recent, is because you're hearing them make jokes and you don't get it.
Yeah.
It's that, you know, that embarrassing feeling when like your friends all like got to spend time together and a funny thing happened and you didn't know they wanted to spend time together, and the way you found out or something, or maybe you did know, but like now they won't stop referencing that joke or that thing. Which
the toxic friend group that I was a part of would always do that.
Yeah.
Both groups that I was part of would always do that.
A lot of my friends, even the not really toxic ones, they would always do that. They would never want to reference jokes and things that happened when I would be at events and like special things, but anytime I wasn't able to go, something hilarious happened, and it usually wasn't even that funny.
Yeah.
But they would shove it in my face and down my throat, and it was kind of like, I get it, I wasn't able to be there.
Yeah.
And like some of them, like, I know that's their way of kind of being like, you should have come, and sometimes you know, I didn't have control over my circumstances, and I physically couldn't go. But
going back on track,
so yeah, for me it's My Brother, and Me, definitely, and kind of the Welcome to Night Vale.
Yeah.
So my answers are kind of going to be the same for the next one. That was just a quick answer.
Yeah, that was a quickie.
Yeah, the next two are basically the same question. Are they actually by the same person? They are. They were just answered. Nuh-uh.
What?
Oh my gosh, the same person. I didn't realize that the same person asked all three of these questions that I picked out. I didn't even check that.
Read their username. I want to call them out.
Sarah Smile BF Andrew.
Sarah Smile's BF Andrew. Is that right?
It's just Smile.
Smile. Yes. Whatever Gwen said, how dare you go on podcast Reddit and literally comment down the same question over and over again.
No. It's within like a while. First one that was uploaded was the one we just read. That was uploaded 144 days ago.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The next one was uploaded 121 days ago.
I'm sorry, Sarah. I take that back.
That was uploaded 45 days ago. So it's like every couple of months they get curious and get on Reddit and ask a question.
You know, Sarah, I take that back. I'm sorry. Gwen didn't specify when time period wise you would post that, so my bad.
It wasn't like
I take that back. Yeah, I thought it was like gonna be like an overkill, like every couple of days, just like, what are you guys' favorite podcasts? Tell me, please.
So the first one is, what is one or more podcasts that I could listen in? Well, this is the most recent one, but what is one or more podcasts that I could listen to in the morning or before I go to bed that may help me stop wanting to stay up late and start going to bed early so I can get more sleep? So they didn't go more in depth than this one, but they went more in depth than the other one. They just said, just to get them to stop staying up late, and they say, I usually stay downstairs for a while doing things and go up around 1 p.m. I think they meant 1 a.m. Then get ready for bed.
We're learning a lot about Sarah in this episode.
Yeah. Get in bed, use my phone for a little, then go to sleep. I don't want sorry, I don't want podcasts that talk about ways which might help me to stop staying up late, and I don't want scary podcasts. Duh. I want podcasts that are interesting. I can listen to them anytime and might help me go up earlier, get ready for bed, then use my phone for a little and go to bed. So I would say, well, I'll go ahead. There's only like a couple responses. Somebody said story, not story. There aren't any new episodes, but the couple had a baby girl. I'm not sure what it's about, but they're kind of giving spoilers about it. Sorry about that. But then they said The Empty Bowl, and they said it's a meditative podcast about cereal. Okay. It's then. Fun and jokey, but designed to be relaxing. So I can see like that. So I'm going to give, like, after I read these next two responses, I'd like to give mine.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you want to go first this time?
Yeah. Because
I got all mine. I got mine set.
No, I do
already.
Too. Because I also have like specifics I wanted to get in.
Because I want to give it as a sales pitch. Okay, Sarah,
Yeah.
if you're listening to this, Sarah, I got you. I want to like pitch you these podcasts.
Okay.
One of them is creepy, but like, hey, you stick with me. I want to sales pitch it to you. That's what I went to school for. Also.
Okay, and I'm gonna give reasoning why I'm not gonna list some of my favorite podcasts for some of these, but why I will list them for others of them.
That's why I'm like, can I go first? Because like I want to do a cool sales pitch, please.
Fine, but let me finish this.
Okay, thank you.
First, they said for sleep, there's a huge number of podcasts out there to help you with that. The biggest one is Sleep With Me. They also enjoy Scare Me to Sleep personally. I'm not sure what either of those about. They also said for waking up, BBC Minute is a loud, high-energy news podcast that lasts 60 seconds and is updates every 30 minutes. I think that's one of the things that's on my daily drive on Spotify.
Yeah.
Then somebody said, if you listen on Apple Podcast, I've noticed a sleep timer. Don't know if that would help. To me, that wouldn't really help. I don't think that's what they're asking. I don't think they're asking. A lot of these people are like, oh, here's these meditative ones. Here are these ones that are supposed to help you.
And Sarah's just like, hey, I don't really want meditative.
Yeah, I don't think maybe that is what Sarah wanted. Maybe that's why they haven't asked again in the past 40 days. I don't know. But to me, the way I read the question is it was more like, what's something I can do to help me wind down at the end of the day, or something I can do to just help me get up in the morning.
Okay.
So I'll let you go first, and then I'll give mine.
My thing is for you to get some sleep. Okay? Yeah, everybody wants to get sleep, and also everybody wants to have a story read to them before going to bed, because that's what we grew up with, right? LeVar Burton.
Oh my gosh.
There's a podcast, which, again, he's from Reading Rainbow. I mean, who wouldn't want a story read by him? People that haven't watched Reading Rainbow, apparently.
I didn't watch Reading Rainbow, so
but yet you watched Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was LaForge. Imagine LaForge reading to you.
I'd rather have it be Reichert or Data.
You know what?
I'll leave.
Yeah. Don't actually leave. Just. Oh, you're sitting over there. Okay.
No, I'm gone. I'm not in the room anymore.
No, I see you just charging up the iPad. And so LeVar Burton has. Gwen's trying to do a bit and I'm trying to ruin it for her. So LeVar Burton has a podcast now called LeVar Burton Reads. It's basically just him every episode just reading a different story. And Sarah, I don't know if your parents read you to sleep or not. Mine didn't. I don't remember if mine did or not. In particular, has yours?
All the time. We had Winnie the Pooh books.
Yeah.
Not like we had like we had both the original Winnie the Pooh books, and then we had and then we had these like for like only a couple year old kids, like the cartoon Winnie the Pooh.
No.
Books. And my parents would read those to me to bed, and I still keep them. I made sure that they didn't get rid of them because those are like my favorite books ever.
Yeah. Now imagine if LeVar Burton was your dad and he's reading you.
I would rather have my dad just read the Winnie the Pooh book.
But what if your dad wasn't around?
Then I'd have my mom do it.
Gwen.
I would read them by myself, but I couldn't read that
Do
yet.
the bit.
So I would have just looked at the
Please.
pictures and made up my own narrative.
You know what? I shouldn't have asked you for help. The thing is, it's so nice and relaxing being read to sleep. Like someone reading you a really good story.
I don't know. Get done with your sales pitch.
Anyways, I'm trying to, but you keep annoying me with stupid
I'm
stuff.
gonna leave the room.
No, it's okay.
Do you want me here or not?
I do. The thing is,
Don't touch me.
it's relaxing when people get read to sleep. So he offers the opportunity to actually be that person of like, yeah, I want to help you relax, wind down, and actually get to sleep. Thank you for knocking my phone off my lap. Appreciate it. So this picture, him reading you to sleep. So I want to cut it short. So the next one is Welcome to Night Vale. If you've been listening to this podcast for like this whole entire episode, you know Welcome to Night Vale is already. Can you not?
I need stimuli.
Okay. Yeah, just pat on my feet.
That's picking up more.
Never mind. Then okay, so you've heard of Welcome to Night Vale because you've been listening to this episode, right? Every single time that he would say goodbye, he would say goodnight over and over again, just more soothingly over and over again. That would literally put you to sleep.
I can kind of see that. Now, I feel like the way it was worded, Sarah's kind of like easily spooked.
Yeah.
Because they said like, nothing scary. Like, definitely nothing scary. It's kind of like, they're the kind of person that if they listen to something kind of creepy before bed, they will not sleep. So that's why I'm going to say, like, Welcome to Night Vale, not before you go to bed. Like, there's also a difference between before you go to bed and to help you, like, while you're trying to get to sleep.
Yes.
I have not found a podcast I can listen to. I might try listening to that one storytelling one, because that's, personally, I just go on YouTube and find fact videos of things I'm interested in and listen to those as I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Or theory videos. It's
Which
usually
actually,
Zelda theory videos.
I was like going through like the list, and he actually read a story done by the same author that made the short story that actually got spun off into its own hit TV show, Justified.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, LeVar did one
Nice.
of the author's short stories.
That's awesome.
So you know I'm gonna be listening to that because I would love westerns.
Yeah. But yeah, so I have yet not found anything, but yeah, I do think that would be good for if you're trying to find something to listen to help like put you to sleep. But if you just want something to like have be the, you know how like there are comedy shows after the like final news for the night?
Yeah.
It's because if it's not healthy, your lifespan is shortened if you go to sleep with stress and negativity on you.
Yes.
So it's better for your mental health and better for your lifespan if you, I'm pretty sure that's true.
Yeah.
I know it is for mental health, but it's better if you go to sleep and you get better sleep if you have something positive before. So before you go to bed, I would say maybe the Adventure Zone, more like...
I wouldn't say the Adventure Zone.
That's why I said maybe, because it depends. Like,
Depends on what
funny.
section you're at.
Exactly, it depends. So it's more like you have to make that judgment. But
Stuff goes south really quickly in the Adventure Zone, so that's why I'm saying
it's
not the
usually
Adventure Zone.
able to tell like per episode. Like you're able to tell if an episode's gonna be a downer. So like that's why I said maybe the Adventure Zone. But definitely my brother and me, because it's just them reading either Yahoo answers or users, you know, like listener sent in questions, and they give the worst advice they possibly can on the podcast.
Yeah.
On like the question. Or,
and then,
you know,
every once in a while they're like, no, seriously, like this is actually the best we can do.
one of the brothers actually helped me not miss classes in my senior year, because I was listening and he was just like, the question asker was like, how can I stop hitting this snooze button? Like how can I actually like get out of bed, basically?
Yes.
Like, what do you guys do? And they were making jokes, but then the one brother was like, seriously though, like, I want to help this person out because this is a serious problem and I feel like everyone deals with it. And he said, what you gotta do is, no matter how tired you are, because you're gonna feel more awake once you do get up, you just get up.
Yeah.
It does not matter. You do not, that snooze button is not an option. Turning off that alarm is not an option. You sit right up in bed, get out of bed, out of the covers, then turn off the alarm. Don't turn it off while you're still in bed, because that's going to tempt you to just fall back asleep.
That's what I always do. Is just like get out of bed, especially with my senior year, because like there was a time in my high school and also my school years where I would just skip because like I wasn't feeling good mentally and physically, and also like I would just sometimes just skip school. And so my stepmom got so mad at both my dad and I that she literally bought me a alarm clock and set it to the time that I was supposed to wake up and the time that I was supposed to go pick up my friends.
Yeah.
And she said, you get up and you turn it off yourself.
Yeah.
And ever since then, like, I wake up now roughly at 6 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
There's no in between. I sometimes sleep in. That's like a once in a blue moon. That I'll just lay there and like try to fall back to sleep.
Yeah. But yeah, and the advice he had given was, to just do that. And I started doing that, and I started feeling better. I started getting more work done. I didn't miss my classes anymore. It really helped me out. And so, like, that one, like, it's not all just jokes. Like, they do give some advice. And the only downside is, like, if you have autoplay turned on and you fall asleep while you're listening, that's why I think it's better as a turn down thing. Like, if you're just trying to listen to something happy to help you, like, get to sleep, you can just listen to that for a bit, like maybe one episode of that, and then put your phone away.
Yeah.
Because it also doesn't leave you on a cliffhanger where you're just kind of like, oh, I need to go listen to the next episode. It's more just like a little something you can have to brighten your day. And I think just a good thing to help you want to get up in the morning is set a time in the morning. Do the advice that the one brother gave in the one episode, but also do what I would do, which is give yourself a reason to get up in the morning. Yeah. Mine would be watching game shows.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd watch The Price is Right.
Mine was...
Usually because I wouldn't get up earlier than that, but it was either that or judge shows, because they're my guilty pleasure.
Crime shows is just your guilty pleasure in general.
That's not crime, it's real judge shows.
I know.
But,
I'm
like,
just saying
those,
in general.
but also I would just tell myself, like, okay, take a walk first thing in the morning. Or, like, once I was definitely out of school, I was homeschooled, so, like, I only had classes, like, one day of the week. So, like, I could just I didn't have to worry about, like, missing classes by taking a walk first thing in the morning. So that's why, like, I just wanted to clarify that. But, yeah, like, I would, set, like, a specific time in the morning to listen to a specific podcast. That I enjoyed.
Yes.
So that way I would be excited. So that would give me a reason to try and get to bed early. And it would give me a reason to get out of bed.
Yes.
Early.
So what podcast do you recommend for in the morning?
My Brother, and Me, and if you want that story-based fantasy thing, then yeah, The Adventure Zone. Or Welcome to Night Vale.
I would say, like, actual-wise, just turn on NPR News. They would always, like, even now, they would always have, like, a thing in the mornings talking about, like, what's going on in the world today. That's a good thing to wake up in the morning and just be like, hey, what did I miss?
Yeah.
Because I was goofing off while listening to the other podcasts that we listed off. Then also, if you want to, like, if you're into history or medical stuff, like, you can listen to Sawbones.
Yeah, and I was about to say, another McElroy show is Wonderful, where Griffin McElroy and his wife just talk about things that make them happy, wonderful things in the world.
Yeah.
And they come up usually with a topic for the beginning of the show, and they talk about that. And then one of the other brothers, Travis, and his wife have a show called Schmanners, where they talk about etiquette. And Travis is I associate with him a lot because he's very, like, ADD, ADHD. I think he was diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah.
So he goes where people, you know, wouldn't normally go, where their brains normally don't go. And I go to that realm too, so, you know. You
relate.
I relate. So, like, a lot of people, like, in their live shows will be kind of like, huh? Like, why is he talking about this? Like, this makes no sense. But I'll be there laughing because I get it. Like, you know. So, yeah, just like Schmanners is a good one for comedy, again. And it's just talking about his wife, you know, talks about, like, etiquette and manners and stuff like that. And he brings the comedy into it. And that's the same with Sawbones. It's with the third brother, the oldest one. Travis,
not Travis.
Sorry, not Travis. Justin. His wife is a nurse. Either a nurse or a doctor. I think she's a doctor.
She's an actual doctor, I think.
She's a doctor.
That's what the book says. So.
Well, yeah. She's a doctor, and she picks a medical topic for the week and talks about it realistically. And Justin brings the comedy in. He's constantly riffing and making jokes and just being ridiculous and making all this gruesome, gory medical stuff funny.
We went to the live show down in Cincinnati like a week or two ago now, and they was talking about grave robbing.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah, so that's also a good episode to start off with, in my opinion.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the end.
I think like people are more interested in grave robbing than anything else.
Yeah.
People are sick. Especially if you're a Haunted Mansion fan. Yeah. Anyways, that was going off topic. We can talk about Haunted Mansion, different theme park stuff in the next episode. Or not. That's cool too.
That's not the next episode.
No, it's not.
I know what the next episode is.
Yeah, but we're not gonna say it because if you're listening to this on shuffle or something, like you can be like, that's the next episode.
Okay.
If you have this one on repeat, like this is the next episode that you want to listen to. Anyways, it's all wibbity wobbity timey wimey stuff. Anyways, so. I stuck a Doctor Who reference finally.
Oh my gosh, just in the episode.
Okay, so if you're on YouTube, like, don't forget that high five the like button with your thumb. Also,
and leave a comment down below.
Yep. That or if you listen to us anywhere else, also on YouTube, you can hit that subscribe button. Also, to ring that bell. Also ring that metaphorical bell to stay notified for upload. And no matter who you are, no matter what you are, no matter what you do, love you, respect yourself. Also love you, respect others. Yeah, let's try to spread some more love this year. Yeah. So it's the third month, and we got this. 2019 was terrible. So we're trying to make 2020 better. So yeah, next time we're on the cast. Bye.
Bye.
Eugene Yes.